All right, let's start the second half of the meeting with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, so it is my pleasure to introduce a guy that's been kicking around quite a few times. He usually comes towards like the second half of the meetings, but hits us almost I didn't say the very end, Chris. But he's been here for what, like a year and a half at least? 5, wow. But it's always super nice to see his face, and now I'm excited to hear your story. Come on up, Chris. Yay!
Sean, there's your timer. Sean's your timer.
My name is Chris. I'm a grateful recovering addict. Honestly, man, I thought I was going to be the 10-minute speaker only. I wasn't prepared for 30. But honestly, man, first I just want to thank God, man, for waking me up with another day of life, man, still clean, with my freedom, man. So how are we going to do this? Let me just start off a little bit of my childhood real fast. I grew up right here in San Pedro. I come from a mixed family, man. My mom is Mexican, my dad's black, and I got a lot of family out here in San Pedro from both sides of different different, you know what I mean. But honestly, me personally, I was always accepted in my family, man, and I always hung out with a lot of different family members, man, from both sides. And honestly, man, growing up, when it comes to the culture of a lot of certain people's lifestyles, man, shit happens, you know what I mean, between the two gangs and all that shit. But me personally, man, I never got into to none of them to no sides, man. I always messed with all my family, even people that wasn't from gangs, no gangs and shit. You know what I mean? I lived a lot of different lifestyles as well, man. I grew up playing sports, you know what I mean? Boys and Girls Clubs, right here on 13th in the Projects Boys and Girls Clubs. I grew up down there in the Low. They call it, if you're from out here, you'll know what the Lowe's is. Like O'Farrell and Center. I grew up over there, and I always lived with my mom, no matter what. You know what I mean? And my mom, that's my Mexican side, so I grew up with a lot of my Mexican side at the same time. And down there growing up, man, I had an uncle. He's rest in peace now. He died in the refineries some years back. But growing up with him, he was like 4 years older than me, or 5 years older than me, and hanging out with them, I was like 9 or 10, been hanging out with them. For me, just running around. They used to be fighting, breaking into commercial buildings and all that, breaking in house, robbing weed connects, and they used to put me through little tiny windows and open up doors to rob their weed connects, and I never knew what weed was at that time. And I just remember they used to give me like $20, you know what I mean, just for putting me from going through the window, unlocking doors, and it was, and honestly, that used to be fun for me. Honestly, it used to be real fun. I used to like doing it, and that was the only way I was able to stay out late if I was with my uncle. You know what I mean? My mom, for me, she'll trip for me. Street lights come on, I was a street light baby. The street lights was on and I wasn't in. For me, she's out. For me, and then if she called my pops. And he finds out, he's really tripping. You know what I mean? My pops is a discipliner. He wasn't, he's coming, and when he comes, he's not asking no questions. You know what I mean? He's just socking shit. He's just socking us up. And that goes for all my cousins on my other side of my family as well. On my other side of the family, I got that the ones that didn't have their pops and all that, their moms called my pops, and my pops pulling up socking shit. You know, he don't even ask questions. Excuse my language. I'm sorry if I cuss a lot. I will put my money in there for cussing. But, yeah, and honestly, man, sometimes a lot of my family didn't even like calling my dad because they know when he comes, he overdoes it as well. He's tripping, you know what I mean? Good thing he wasn't in. I'm not gonna say good thing, but he wasn't in our household as much. He was always there, but he just wasn't in our household as much. And my mom, my mom always worked. My mom is my superwoman, man. Honestly, that's the woman of my life. I'm a mama's boy, and I'm a big mama. I'm a grown mama's boy still to this day. You know what I mean? And I'll forever be, man. And let me try to see how I'm gonna go to with this. But honestly, man, just growing up behavior-wise, before any type of drugs and alcohol, before any of that, behavior-wise I was going off track. I always played sports and all that, Pop Warner football. I played basketball for Boys and Girls Clubs, for travel teams, all that. You know what I mean? But in between all that, my behaviors was always, I was always fighting as a little kid from fighting people, little kids in the projects. My uncle and them used to, when little project kids used to get into it with my uncle and them, the little younger ones, I used to go down there and fight with them. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, they used to say I had a short man complex or whatever that means. So, and now that I think about it, I probably did, because I used to not want to think people could just, because I'm short, I used to not want people to just think they could just beat me up or something like that. So I used to like talking shit just to get into it with somebody and prove to them, like, yeah, I can fight too. You know what I mean? And honestly, I got, man, I believe, I don't know, bros are bright, but honestly, man, when it came to fighting, I fought a lot of people in my lifetime. And always sometimes just bullshitting around, just joking around, turning the fight, or just for me, slap boxing, turning the fight, going body, turning the fight. And it was fun, man. A lot of stuff was a lot of the shenanigans was fun from a young age, man. And I had a lot of. I'll be lying my ass off if I say I didn't have a lot of people that I had good knowledge, that told me, that was trying to talk some good knowledge into me about life in general, about sports, because I was a hell of a sports player, football especially. But they used to always tell me, man, you gotta make sure you're disciplined in school. You know what I mean? You got good behavior, got good grades, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't got the grades and the behavior for certain things, man, ain't nobody gonna want you. You know what I mean? It don't matter how talented you are. And I never really understood that as a kid, man. I was very immature, man, honestly. And I thought I knew it all. You mean I never thought all the stuff they used to tell me that was negative that could possibly happen in life. I used to never believe that. That'd never be. I should have never happened with me. You know what I mean? Never thought I would be addict. Never thought I'd be going to jail. Never thought I would have to be in recovery as well. You know what I mean? But I'm very thankful and grateful. I'm gonna get to that, but I'm very thankful and grateful for that. You know what I mean? But as time went on, man, little by little, man, even while I was playing sports and doing what I was supposed to be doing, I was always a sneaky little. I was always sneaking off with all the little knuckleheads, man, and hanging out. And then it got to a point where weed started coming in, or ditching school started coming in. All the females, you know what I mean? I used to have long ass hair in middle school from like 4th grade to like 9th. And when I was in middle school, a lot of females used to like braiding my hair at school. And honestly, man, when it came to females, it was like that was one of my distractions, man, was females and bullshit and shenanigans as well. Ditching school. My grades was always bad. Honestly, my grades was always bad. And they should tell me, when you go from 8th grade to 9th and to play sports, you gotta have the grades coming from 8th to 9th. And I still was so immature that shit was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna play. They're gonna let me play just because. For me, who the fuck am I? But for me, they're gonna let me play. Then when it came to that point, I got to 9th grade. Put me tryouts. I knew all the people from Pedro. I went to Pedro at first in 9th grade, and then I played the first 2 games of JV, man. And then there was a time we was about to play Peninsula High, and I guess the coach from Peninsula, mind you, I had forged I was supposed to go do summer school and get at least 2 C's to be eligible, and I didn't have it. And my heart dropped. I was like, fuck, I'm finna be a letdown, because I had people that been watching me from Pop Warner, family-wise, people that I know that been waiting for me to go to high school and play. And when I found out, when I seen I didn't have the grades, I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? I'm about to be a letdown. I'm about to be a disappointment. And I had somebody forge the report card so I was able to play for my first 2 JV games. And in the school Peninsula, they wanted to check our grades. You know what I mean? They wanted to check our grades for some reason when we was about to play them. And then I remember that day of school, I had my football jersey up for me, and I went into the locker room, and it was like 2 people, 2 good players that was sitting there crying, like for me, like upset. And I was like, what's going on? And they called me to the office, and they was like, why does this have pen writing on your report card? And I was like, I don't know, I came like that. And they was like, there's no way, report cards don't come with pen ink. And I was like, wow, that's the way mine came. And they told me, like, you're not finna be able to play. And I was like, what? Honestly, I started crying low key, like, For me, because I had people already at the game waiting to watch me play. My dad's homies, homies that know me just from Pedro, that used to love seeing me playing Pop Warner with Sarah for me. And then when we went out there, I would just have my jersey on and no pads or nothing. And everybody was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, I don't know. Then they come to find out, you know what I mean, I don't got the grades and all that. And then it was over with, you know what I mean? I got kicked out of Pedro, went to Narbonne High School. And when I went to Narbonne, it was like, for me, it was a whole nother, it was a lot of people from different cities that was there, a lot of different females that was there, a lot of different distractions that was there. And it's the weed, smoking weed started coming in, you know what I mean? Ditching school, smoking weed, drinking a little bit. And never thought I would be an addict still, you know what I mean? Never, you know what I mean? Never even imagine. I remember being out in the streets hanging out with certain people late nights. We just smoking weed and stuff though, and drinking. Even when I was hanging out with certain, but I remember them crowds of people and like addicts. They used to be coming out of little bandos that was by places we used to hang out around. And for me just that, you know, that addict lifestyle of that tweaker lifestyle. And I used to see out there, I used to be like, what the fuck, these motherfuckers tripping. But these motherfuckers be out late all night, you know what I mean? But I never imagined, like, for me, I never knew nobody that was in that crowd yet, you know what I mean? And never really understood what was going on, you know what I mean? And as time goes on, man, little by little, I'm gonna try to speed it up, but I remember I was at a party, right? And my homie used to sell ecstasy pills. My boy used to sell ecstasy pills. He been selling. I've been around him. He been selling them. I never even thought of trying an ecstasy pill. And I remember we was at a house party right here in Pedro, and I remember I invited like 3 girls there, 3 different girls, just hoping one of them, trying to make sure at least one of them went, so I know for sure it'd be a for sure thing. And I remember all 3 of them ended up going, right? And I remember, I was like, damn, for me, all 3 of them right here. So I'm drinking. I'm just drinking and smoking weed at this time for me. And I remember I got low. Sometimes I used to not know how much my limit of drinking. I used to think I could hang with, for me, put out that facade up like I could hang. And then that next thing you know, I'm passed out, and all that. But I remember that day, I was drinking, and then we had to go smoke some weed in my homie's car. And he was like, and I was like, damn, I'm about to pass out. And I remember seeing a text like, I'm here, where you at? From the female. And I was like, damn, I'm about to pass out. I'm about to truck it. And I remember telling my homie like, hey, let me try one of those pills. Cause I used to see them pop. I used to see certain people popping, they used to be geeked up. You know what I mean? But I used to be scared of, like, for me, certain like shit like that. I used to be like, nah, I never do no ecstasy. That just sounded dangerous to me. But I was just like, for me, just because the females was there and I didn't want to fall asleep, I was like, let me try one. And I remember my boy gave me one, right? He was like, you ever try one? I was like, nah. So he gave me a little half of one, right? And I remember he crushed it up and I drank it in the orange juice. And I remember like 20, and I was about to pass out, literally. And I drank that crushed up ecstasy pill, man. And I remember like 20, 30 minutes after that, it was like, bing. It was like, it was like something hit me that feeling was like, damn. Like for me, it was like, it hit hard. And that tiredness just went to bing, like, let's go. You know what I mean? And I remember from that day, that feeling of that ecstasy pill was about to change. That was the beginning, literally, of my addiction lifestyle. You know what I mean? That was the first what they consider hard substance that I had ever tried. And that little half of ecstasy was about to be the beginning of my long-term, you know what I mean, addiction lifestyle. And I remember it used to just be a weekend thing, just one little pill on the weekend at the park. Because I was going to functions from like 16, 17, believe it or not. I was going to functions in Hollywood, getting in for $20 that in 21 older clubs. I bullshit you not. Just pay $20, you know what I mean? No hats, no white tee, all different. Like for me, I had to be dressed up, honestly. And it was hella fun. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you. It was real fun. Right there's good. Oh, we're back. It was fun in the beginning, man. I'll be lying to you. I'll be lying myself off if I say it wasn't fun in the beginning, man. Honestly, but I remember that one pill became 2. I needed 2. Then my immune was getting stronger. Then it became 3, and then it became like, for me, not just only on the weekends. It just became a daily thing. It ended up becoming a daily routine. Like just popping ecstasy pills, and the females. Ecstasy pills, females are functioning. That was all it was in my mind. That's all it was for me. Ended up being, and I remember I got locked. I had got locked up, right? I had a juvenile case. I had got locked up after I just turned 18 for a juvenile case that I forgot all about. And I remember I went to camp, Kilpatrick. That was my last camp program I ever did. And I remember it was a gang of people in there doing crystal, right? And I had never seen crystal in my life, never heard of nobody doing it. And it was some people that I would never expect to be doing it, right? That was in there doing it. And I was like, fuck it, let me try it. I had tried ecstasy, never tried no crystal or none of that. I remember I was like, let me get a little line. I did a little ass line of crystal in there, and that shit had me like, what the like for me, bing again, another bing. You know what I mean? But that was my first and last time ever doing crystal from 18 to like I had never even thought about doing it when I got out of camp. That was 18 and I never did crystal, tried the crystal again till like 22. Never even been around. Even when I got out of camp, I had never tried crystal again because I never was in that crowd. For me, it was just some random thing in camp that was going around. And I never been around people doing crystal. I was still in certain crowds of other people living different lifestyles. You know what I mean? And I remember I had a bad pill though one day, man, when I was about 20, 21. And I ended up in a hospital, man. And never tried a pill again. But that feeling, I was chasing that feeling, that feeling of the drug, you know what I mean? That feeling I couldn't forget. I couldn't forget that feeling, but I didn't want to try another ecstasy pill. So I remember I was doing coke a little bit, and I remember I asked somebody for some coke, and they was like, I could get you some crystal. And this was 4 years after I already had tried it again. Never even thought of. And when they told me they could give me some crystal, my whole mind went back to camp, like bing. I remember that feeling. You know what I mean? I remember that feeling of that crystal, and I was like, and me being drunk too. Remember, mind you, being drunk was another thing. But I remember that I was like, forget it, man, shoot it. You know what I mean? I'll give you $10, give me whatever you can. You know what I mean? I remember, and then I used to buy little 10 sacks and just crush them and just have little sacks and be sneaking off. I used to still be in certain crowds doing other things, like sneaking and geeking with the crystal. You know what I mean? Nobody. All jokes aside, nobody on this earth knew I was doing crystal besides the person I was buying it from. I would have little dime sacks of crystal in my pocket, going out to still hanging with certain people, doing certain things, going to Hollywood functions still, West LA functions, functions in the Valley. This is when, I don't know if any of y'all remember like the Push Inks and all that, but this is when they little functions was cracking. But I'm gonna speed it up to the crystal, to when it got to the crystal part. I'm gonna speed it up to when it got to start changing, man. I had got locked up a bunch of times. I'm staying in Long Beach, and honestly, man, that's when it got all bad, man. I was fully in the tweaker lifestyle, man, with hanging in bandos, motels, all the other shenanigans, man. And I'm just get straight to the day that till August 23rd on Mother's Day. I got locked up, right? My baby mother had passed away. My baby mother had passed away on May 8th of 2023. I got locked up on Mother's Day of 2023. And I remember I bailed out. I ended up bailing out only because they was about to have a car wash and a funeral for my baby mother. And her mom wanted me to be the pallbearer for the funeral. So I bailed out, right? I bailed out only because I didn't want to miss it. You know what I mean? So when I bailed out and I went to that, I was still running amok. And then I remember 3 months after time being waived, I remember during that time, my public defender was like, "Do you want to? You need to get into a program, go to school, or get a job before trial starts because if you don't, you're gonna go right back to jail." And I procrastinated. And long story short, I got into a program for the first time in my life in August 21st of 2023, right? I remember I woke up, I got high, went to the treatment. Never knew, this is my first run in all of this, you know what I mean? Treatment, programs, any of this. This is my first time ever doing any of this. And I went into the treatment on August 21st, man, high. And then the next day I woke up, I went to trial. That was the first day of my trial, so I took my letter to court. And my judge was like, "You only been in there for 1 day? You feel me? You only been in the program for 1 day?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, this is This the first. They finally had room for me. And they was like, well, I'm gonna let you stay in that program, man. And the DA hopped up like, nah, he needs to go to jail. And the judge was like, you sit down, young man. And this is my court. You know what I mean? I was like, for sure, she's on my side. And never seen that. I never had seen that. You know what I mean? And from that day though, honestly, man, I haven't got high since August 22nd of 2023, man. And when I got to treatment, man, I hated hearing a lot of shit. I hated stuff. Excuse my language. I hated hearing all the cliches. I hated hearing all the put your recovery first. I hated hearing a lot of stuff because at the same time, this is my first time in treatment. So when I used to hear all this stuff, I used to be like, what does this even mean? You know what I mean? I don't know what none of this stuff means. You know what I mean? And then I started hearing people share about the effects of addiction. I used to start hearing people share their little stories. I used to hear the H&I panel people come, and I used to be like, and I used to be tripping like, what the fuck? They got people coming talking about, put me some shit, some crazy ass stories, and I used to be like, ain't no way these people is able to come and talk about all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because it's some stuff I never thought I would be talking about, you know what I mean? I don't care how bad your story was. I had a mask on. My ego probably wouldn't let me share none of my shenanigans, you know what I mean? And I never wanted to admit that I was an addict, and I was glad I was in there from a little nudge from the judge, because at first I was able to tell people, like, I'm just in there for court, you know what I mean? I didn't want to tell people that I was really in there trying to get clean, you know what I mean? I was just in there, I was just telling people, like, I'm just in there for court, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because my ego and pride still wouldn't, for me, I don't care if you're an addict or not. I don't want to tell you that I'm an addict, you know what I mean? I don't want to tell you the effects that it used to do to me, you know what I mean? I didn't want to tell you that that shit used to make me trip out and hear shit and thinking people following me and all that shit. I never want to admit nothing like that, you know what I mean? And I used to hear people sharing their story. I'd be like, oh shit, these motherfuckers sharing that. I'd never tell you about mine. I'd never, you know what I mean? But as time went on, man, all the stuff I hated to hear, all the correction I hated to hear about myself, I needed to hear it and have a clear mind to hear it. Because when I'm loaded and hearing somebody trying to correct me and hear it all, don't even do it. You know what I mean? Because I ain't trying to hear it. I don't want to hear you correct me when I'm loaded. You know what I mean? Because it ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I mean? But as time when I started getting my hair clean, and I started hearing a bunch of things in treatment, man, about all these little effects and like for me, getting all these tools. You know what I mean? And I used to be like, damn, it's a trip, because some of this shit really is simple tools that I just never even thought about, even pictured of using. You know what I mean? And they used to talk about like, they used to tell me like, oh, look in this room, it's gonna be a small percentage of you that don't make it, right? And in my head, I used to be like, shit, I can't be one of that percent. You know what I mean? I got my son, and damn, that's a whole nother thing about my son. But damn, my little son, man, it used to be. It was just like I used to always say when I had a kid, man, that I would change everything. You know what I mean? I believed that. I had the intentions of that. And then when I had my son, though, I didn't change nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't change nothing at all. You know what I mean? I was in the grips of the disease bad. You know what I mean? I couldn't do shit but get high and bullshit. You know what I mean? And go off to do shenanigans. You know what I mean? That's where it took me to do all shenanigans. You know what I mean? Nothing positive and productive. Stop showing up to family functions. You know what I mean? Because I got a lot of family that always got functions, got something going on, and I just stopped showing up. Or when I do show up, I'm taking off. I share to say I'm take off and don't say bye to nobody. You know what I mean? I'm just gone. But as treatment went on, man, I started hearing some things. Start going to meetings. You know what I mean? Start going to the groups. I used to love going to groups. I still go to groups to this day. Well, I was still going to groups. You know what I mean? Shout outs to Tom, man. I used to bug him in his groups all the time. But honestly, man, they used to talk about a passing parade, like Marcelino said, and I met a gang of people. During my time with you, because I could fellowship. I'm not a person that thinks I'm better than nobody. I don't think so. I don't think, oh, because I'm doing this, I'm better than you, or you because just you only got a short amount of time, or you don't got no money like that, or you got a lot of money. I don't. Me personally, I say what's up to everybody. You know what I mean? I don't care how you look. I don't care how you dress. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody better than nobody. You know what I mean? No matter at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I fellowship with everybody, and I go to and I was like a little meeting explorer, man. When I had my car early. And I used to tell people, like, you want to go to a meeting somewhere else? You know what I mean? And you know, RBH, when you're in RBH, you know what I mean? Some people don't want to go to meetings. Some people think they got, some people just work. I used to see. I seen the effects happen when they say put your recovery first, man. Cause I seen people go to get the job only, get swole to the gym, you know what I mean, and forget about the recovery, man. And honestly, man, I see some of them same people, man. Now, not to judge nobody, but I see some of them people, man, that went off the track. You know what I mean? That was doing real good. You know what I mean? That's out there right now. You feel me? Tripping. You know what I mean? Or a lot of people went to jail. I had a roommate die. That was a roommate in my RBH. You know what I mean? Passed away because he wanted to go out and try it again. You know what I mean? That's another thing, man. Sometimes we don't get the chance to try this shit again, man. Honestly, you know what I mean? And that's the truth. And it don't gotta just be from drugs. You know what I mean? It's behaviors. You know what I mean? Because my recovery has way more to do than just the drugs. You know what I mean? And that's the honest truth, man. Because I could be clean. I always say this, man. I could be clean as ever. You know what I mean? Sober, clean, whatever. I could be clean as ever and go out there and participate with some people that's out there that's living some shenanigan lifestyles, man. And you know. Because I used to get a thrill out of that before anything, you know what I mean? Hustling, credit card fraud, hanging with the flockers, hanging with the people, you know what I mean? All that shit. It's a world full of temptation, man. The world is full of some negative temptation, man. That some of us are used to doing, man. And if I don't stay tapped in with the program, man, if I don't stay tapped in with my higher power, man, and stay disciplined, and I'm one bad choice away from being right back out there, man, and back in jail, dead, or whatever. You know what I mean? And I got a son. There is nothing more important than for me to stay clean and than to be available for myself, man, and for my family and for my son. You know what I mean? The biggest high I get nowadays is going out with my son, taking him, you know what I mean, wherever he wants to go, taking him to Chuck E. Cheese, Disneyland, Knox, for me, just to the beach, to the aquariums, and for me, I get the best high out of that, man. For me, you know what I mean, just being available, because my son never has to see me loaded, you know what I mean? He never has to, and that's my little road dog, man. He's my little junior, Chris Jr. And it sucked, man, not being able to be available at first for him, man, because I'm out there getting loaded, you know what I mean? That's not cool, you know what I mean? So I know they say we got to do this for ourselves, and 100%, because if I'm not right, there ain't no doing nothing right. For me, if I'm not right, I can't help nobody. I can't be of service to nobody. I can't go to work, you know what I mean? I'm not a person. I put a lot of energy in trying to get high and go to work and say at least I'm working, or just doing, for me, being positive and productive. It don't work out like that for me, man. It's 100%. I must stay clean for me to stay positive and productive, man, and be able to go to work, you know what I mean, and be able to show up at family functions and stay the whole time, you know what I mean, look people in the eyes and talk to them, you know what I mean, and talk to, because people know, my family love me, and they know that I'm always a good energy person in the family, you know what I mean. I play with all the little kids, you know. I'm a big ass kid. I'm a big old kid myself. Honestly, I'm a big old kid. And I like to joke around. I got a hell of a sense of humor, you know what I mean? I like to joke around. But at the end of the day, man, honestly, there ain't nothing more serious than the recovery for me, man. I can't never forget where I came from. I can't never forget where I'm here for. And that's another thing, man, the forgetter. For me, I got a forgetter that I can forget some shit. I can forget easy, you know what I mean, if I ain't tapped in. You know what I mean? I can forget that if I take a little drink, it'll end up for me being right back in the eventually it goes right back to the cycle, man, of shenanigans, you know what I mean? But I'm just thankful and grateful, man, that I took that route of going to treatment, man. I put my ego and pride to the side, man, and said, yeah, I told my public defender, like, I do got a drug problem, you know what I mean? And I just got off my joint suspension too last month. That's for me, that was a long joint suspension. And part of that joint suspension was going to outpatient and RSS still. They still wanted me to have to prove that I'm still doing this and that. So I would bug Tom's group in the mornings before I went to work. You know what I mean? And I didn't have to go to as many groups that I used to go to in the morning. But I'm a person that I end up getting up early, man, and just be sitting there like, for me, and I go to work at like 10:50. And I just be like, I'm just gonna stop at a group real fast before I go to work. You know what I mean? I ain't doing nothing for an hour and a half or an hour. You know what I mean? I'm not a person that says, oh, I'm too busy to do this. For me, go to I go to meetings all over the city from different areas. You know what I mean? And I network with. It's a lot of people I network with and fellowship with, man, because ain't nobody too cool for school. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, sometimes some people think they too cool for this shit. You know what I mean? There's no excuse my language. Sometimes some people think they too this or too that. Not to judge nobody and take nobody else's inventory, but you know what I mean? I just know I need to stay clean. You know what I mean? And and meeting people that's in the fellowship that's staying clean too, and doing other things. You know what I mean? You never know who you might run into, man. Who you might network with, and it's always good to be able to be available, man, for certain things, man. And I just know that today, man, I got a little more than 2 years clean, man. I work in this treatment detox, man, in Woodland Hills. It's a little private one, so it's a little different, man. But you know, seeing people come in through there and be like, I never seen detox. You know what I mean? I never seen how that shit look. But when I see people come in there detoxing, I be like, sheesh. You know what I mean? Not to judge nobody, but I be like, damn. You know what I mean? And some people come in there with money. That, feel me? So money don't, feel me? When they used to tell me, it don't matter how much money you got, where you come from, what race you is, feel me, who you related, or none of that matters. You know what I mean? Because the disease will, for me, it'll tear some shit up. You know what I mean? Easy. And I just know that today, man, I'm available. You know what I mean? Thank you for Nancy for letting me for speak today. You know what I mean? And I still. I don't ever want to think that I got this shit under control, man. That's one thing I gotta stay tapped in with too, and discipline myself with. I don't ever want to think I ever got this under control, man, because I seen with my own eyes, man, how shit goes. And even though I fellowship with a lot of people, man, it's a lot of people that I gotta watch who I fellowship with, because I meet a lot of people that still be doing, you know what I mean? They still try to live certain little lifestyles, man, on the low. But you know, that's their issues, man. I just know I got to stay away from certain things, man, and I can only control what I do in my recovery, man. At the end of the day, I can't control what you do when you leave here, or what you do in your recovery, man. I can only control what I do, you know what I mean? And staying clean and staying criminal free as well, you know what I mean? Staying clean and clean from criminal activities is a big thing for me, man. I wish I was prepared more for the 30 minutes. I thought I was 10, but honestly, man, I'm gonna end it with this, man. All jokes aside, man, I genuinely hope we all get this, man, and just trust the process. I remember that they told me trust the process, man, and ever since then, I just listen. I don't think I know everything no more, man. I just listen to correction and accept discipline nowadays. But thank you for letting me share.